Oh, I better do what the timer says. It says go. Well, let's go. We're going.
Where are we going?
I don't know, the timer said go.
Go. Oh, that's an
Yeah,
incomplete instruction. Go where?
Yeah, I know. It just said go. I'm going to have to look into that.
Uh, yes. I think you should write a strong letter.
Yeah, but who do I send it to?
I don't know.
The clock department.
I think you need the Department for Funny Walks.
Like the ducks.
Well, yeah, walking like a duck is a funny walk.
I wasn't talking to you, Clive. No, I wasn't telling you to go. It was telling Terry to go.
I think it was actually trying to tell Terry, get on with it!
Don't do that, Alan. You'll wake up Joker.
He'll wake up someone, wake up everybody.
Sorry, do I need to turn down my mic a bit or something?
No,
No,
just don't
no.
yell into it.
use your inside voice.
Yeah, inside voice, exactly.
Yeah.
Paul, you made a mistake on the name. It's only got one letter.
Yeah, it has.
A person with one name.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Phil.
Is there a clue?
Yeah, a person with one name starting with E.
That's the clue.
So far.
Well, I've had my first uh, pre-clue initial guess.
Okay. Trying to think of who in history have only ever used. That'd be the phone, Reg. Who has a name that's only one name? That'd have to be Greek, wouldn't it? You'd think. No? Probably a bit more recent. Help me.
Oh, that was. Hello, is Cassie there?
Did you say
No.
she would be if she lived here?
I just said no
Yeah, okay.
and got the old.
Eros,
I'm sorry.
Eratosthenes?
Nope.
That's what Clive reckons.
Not enough letters.
Not enough letters. Oh no, I can't count the letters properly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
I,
8,
th-
9.
I
A 10-letter name.
I think I think everybody seems to be going for the same.
Eratosthenes, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not enough letters, Phil.
No, Eratosthenes got like 23 letters in it.
Every person. Nah, I can't let you off with that one, sir. That one doesn't sound right.
Not Eratosthenes. Not Eratosthenes either.
Living or dead?
Dead. long time ago.
Well, there goes my theory. Well, there goes. That's what I was guessing. It was somebody a long time ago that only used one name. So I was half
Yeah.
right. Now it's got to pick which.
I think that's why everybody was going for
He was
going for a Greek.
Mm,
Sorry, Paul.
that's not flat.
Well, Euclidean fits, but that can't be it.
Nah.
Nope.
Gee, this is a hard one. Come on, Clive.
Not really. You're on the right track. You're in the era. Just haven't got the right name yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep thinking.
It's easy when you know what it is.
Mm. Don't you know your Greek history?
No, it's all Greek to me. How am I supposed to know Greek history? I only went to just made year 10, you know.
Well, you don't. I suppose you don't have to know Greek history. You've just got to know Greek names.
Yeah, that's true. A long dead person. Yeah, we figured that out, Dora. And it's Greek or European. Epi
He was the earth, fire, water, and wind guy.
Earth.
And he even guessed that the speed of light was finite.
Did he?
Hmm.
Elephant
And
man.
he even made a statement that's very similar to the statement that mass is conserved in chemical reactions. So he was a pretty switched on guy.
Yeah.
Not the Elephant Man, no. Not Epichamus, no.
Captain Planet.
But we do have one correct answer out there. Well done to Surf.
EMPEDOCLES.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. How do you say that, Terry? Yes.
I think we need to ask Blue or Paul.
MP Dockles.
I want to hear Terry say it.
I said Empedockles.
I knew yeah, I knew that it'd be funny. That's great, Terry.
Yeah.
He'd be turning in his grave right now. You mean Empedocles? Or Empedocles? Empedocles.
That's right, John. Empedocles.
He was the one that proposed that everything was made of 4 elements: earth, fire, water, and air.
See those calf? Told you if I shouted loud enough he'd hear me.
Oh, God. Looks like my internet speed is about to go through the flipping floor.
Okay.
Unless Paul has frozen up for everybody else.
No, don't think so.
I can't see Paul at the moment.
Let's just Paul's video playback has gone really choppy. And actually Terry's is still okay.
Oh, it might be Paul then.
Could be.
Yeah.
That might be about to drop out.
Oh no, it's not that again, is it?
No, I haven't had any troubles lately.
No, not lately. I got a little drop out the other night. Was it last night or the night before? I thought I was going good there for a while.
I had 3 big red and blue vans and a great big team of workmen at my house today installing air conditioning.
Oh, cool.
Very
And
cool.
hot. Yeah. Yep. So most of the house has got its own separate little unit in each room now.
Well, summertime's coming, so you'll need that.
Oh yeah, it'll be
The cool
it'll
side
be
of it.
fantastic. Yeah.
Is Empedockles in a big room full of flirts? That's what Phil wanted to know.
He's in a shed full of Harvard students.
No, he's not mowing the ducks. Paul said he's
Mowing the ducks.
Zebulon says he's not mowing them. I can imagine him going into the catcher already minced and plucked and ready to go. How'd you separate the feathers?
I do have a video of some little ducklings. We're getting another new lot on Monday. Let me see if I can figure out how to get these little videos that I took. Up.
Well, while you're doing that, I'll see if I can. I'll put a couple of links down in homework for what to read for tonight's topic.
Oh, I know how I can do it.
What's that
I
one?
can send it to the drive, can't I?
I grabbed a few, I just wasn't sure.
Well, if you want one, if you want, I can pull one up to help read it if you wish. My new medication definitely seems to be helping with the headache somewhat. It's not nearly as bad as usual.
Okay. Well, I thought we'd do that guy because everyone knows that name. Thought that'd be if I can get a bit more out of it.
Well, tell me which one to.
I'll show you, and then you can. That way you can have a quick gander at that one while I'm looking at the other one to see if it's any better or worse than that one. That's that one. So if you can see in homework, it's the. Is that the first one? Is that the second one? Yeah, I'm looking at the URL to see which one it was.
I've got that one.
Is that the right? You matched that one? Did you?
Hang on, let the page. Yeah. Okay.
It's that one. Yeah, I'm just going through.
Hang on.
Yeah.
No,
because the one under it,
that one.
not the first one.
Yeah.
because the timeline, that's first what you just got, but after that is the next topic there that's written there underneath it, without saying what it is. And then
Yeah.
further down, I've got another image of the same person. I'm just going to open that one up and see if that one's got any. The one with the image. I'm just going to open that one up and see if that's any better or worse. Because that one goes on to a few of them, not just the one. Yeah, that one's only got a little bit there. Then it goes on to the second one, and the third, and so on. So that's got multiple ones going by the title. Get under there.
Yeah, I have the.
What's that last link I did? Oh, somebody
have
done an
those
essay on the whole subject. And that's, wow. Imagine reading all that. That last one I done. Because somebody did an essay on the topic. Yeah, that last one. Yeah, I think that might be a bit much to read through. That would take us forever to read through that. Yeah, I'm thinking the one.
I've got.
I think the one which you first put up may. Oh, the second one. What's that one? Oh no, not that one. What's the URL for that one? Oh, that's that one. Okay, so I'll cancel that one. Cancel that one. I thought this one, if I can show you. Can you see this one with that one?
Hang on, Terry.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's keeping up with the pages, because when I go to Discord and then open the page, it I then can't see I'm then not seeing the Zoom meeting window.
Okay. It's the one sydneylivingmuseums.com.
Yeah.
And you should see
Yes,
a certain type of item as the first image.
Yeah. No, I've got the page because I've seen. It's just. Yeah, I've got that.
That one gives you the overview, I think, going by the first title. When you scroll down.
Yeah, I think that's looking like.
Yeah, but then it goes
that
down.
Kind of. I love how the poor peanuts have to listen to us discuss
discussing the topic. They're going
because
I wonder what the topic is.
because we couldn't find the time to do it before we started.
Well, this is the whole fun of it, I suppose. What topic? Carl says, what topic? Well, if you want to recap, Carl, we did the first fleet. They arrived in Australia, and it's convicts. So I thought we'll go to the next topic. Same timeline. Yeah, I'm just scrolling down to see how far down it actually covers. There's a change. It goes down a bit. got a lot of information there.
Yeah, it looks like not a bad site to use, to be honest.
Down to the footnote. Legacy. Okay, down to the legacy. It seems to be
Don't have
very
to do it
narrow.
all in one.
It's very narrow. It's very narrow in the text, but I'm just wondering how much of that I'm going to see out there. I'll just have a look. I can't chop off that bit.
You should be able to in the. See if we can set up a debate between Lindsay and Lemonbird.
Wouldn't that be different? We'd have no clue what they were talking about. They'd just get into a little narrative between the two of them, and
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, they would be using words, just not the right ones.
Yeah, yeah, but they'd probably understand each other and have a conversation. Okay. I might have to make the words bigger. I can't read them. Whoa. Don't want that big. Don't think I'm going to be able to. Alright. Most of the time I can make it bigger, but. Okay, that one. No. I mean, I can get it to fit on my page, but not out there. That's going to be the only problem. Okay. That'll have to be that one then. Alright. Oh, what happened? What did I click on? Alright. It's smaller. No, can't make it smaller. That's the only way I'm going to make it fit. There we go. Size doesn't matter, Terry. Yes, we will be talking about that after. Okay, got that. Bushrangers in New South Wales. Were bushrangers villains or heroes? During the colonial period, bushrangers committed several serious crimes. However, to some people, they might have seemed impressive. What was a bushranger? Bushrangers were criminals who operated in rural areas and used the bush to hide and escape after committing a crime. They were often violent and sometimes killed members of the public and police officers. Reports of female bushrangers committing crimes did occur, but these were rare. Because bushrangers broke rules and challenged the police, some people admired them. They might have even assisted them by giving them food and shelter. but most people, including the police, simply thought they were dangerous criminals. Where did the name come from? The word was first published in a newspaper in 1805, so it must have already been in common use to describe criminals who operated in the country and lived in the bush. There's a quote here. On Tuesday last, a cart was stopped between this settlement and Hawkesbury by three men whose appearance sanctioned the suspicion of being bushrangers. The term bushranger is unique to Australia. In England, a criminal who robbed travellers on country roads was known as a highway robber, or Toby man, or a scam. Many convicts transported to New South Wales had been convicted of highway robbery. Some like Lawrence Kavanagh returned to their old habits after they arrived in the colony, but others like William Noah worked hard and stayed out of trouble. When were bushrangers active? From the earliest days of the colony, some convicts felt they would be better off running away from the settlement. They were called bolters or absconders and lived in the bush stealing food from settlers to survive. This was a serious crime, and if caught, they could face the death penalty. Most of these escaped convicts travelled around on foot because horses were rare during the early 1800s. But as horses became more common, criminals would steal them for transport. This changed the nature of how these criminals could operate, making it easier for them to rob, escape, and range over a larger amount of bush. By the 1830s, bushrangers were committing a lot of crimes throughout the colony. In response, the New South Wales government passed the Robbers and Housebreakers Act, also known as the Bushrangers Act. The act was supposed to make it easier to arrest a person who was suspected of being a transported convict who had escaped, an armed robber bushranger on the roads, a person hiding or assisting a bushranger. But the law caused problems because innocent people, such as a man out hunting with his gun, were sometimes arrested and had to prove that they were not bushrangers. Gold Rush Crime Wave. When gold was discovered in New South Wales in 1851, a new wave of bush ranging began. Thousands of people travelled out to the goldfields, which were in isolated rural areas. This created an opportunity for criminals to steal gold from the miners instead of doing the hard work of finding the gold themselves. Bushrangers were also very active in the Victorian goldfields, and reports of their crimes were often published in New South Wales newspapers. I'll read this account. Okay, don't worry about that one. I'm not going to read that. The wild 1860s. During the 1860s, newspapers in New South Wales were full of stories about bushrangers and their crimes. The New South Wales police force was under a lot of pressure to fight back, and did so despite the risk to their own safety. For example, during the 1860s, over 400 men were arrested and convicted of armed robbery. At least 20 bushrangers were killed in shootouts or sentenced to death by courts. In 11 New South Wales police officers were killed by bushrangers. Many others were wounded in shootouts. In spite of the police efforts, gangs of bushrangers continued to rob and kill people including police officers. So in 1865, the New South Wales government passed another law, the Felons Apprehensions Act. Under this law, a person who had been declared an outlaw by the courts could be shot dead without warning. Wow. The new law was supposed to make it easier to capture confront violent bushrangers. The grammar's not right there. Only 4 bushrangers were officially declared outlaws in New South Wales during the gold rush: John Gilbert, John Dunn, Thomas Clark and Patrick Connell. All were either killed in shootouts with police or captured and executed for their crimes. Bushranging comes to an end. Bushrangers became less of a threat during the 1870s and 1880s. There were a few reasons for this. New roads and railways made travel faster and safer. New South Wales built an electric telegraph system which made it easier for police to track bushrangers. The New South Wales Police Force had become more organised, experienced and developed better tactics. In 1879, the New South Wales bushranger known as Captain Moonlight was captured by police after a shootout. During the battle, a policeman was killed. Moonlight was executed in 1880. This was the same year in which another famous bushranger, Ned Kelly, was hanged for his crimes in Victoria. In the years that followed, criminals still robbed people and may have hidden in the bush, but the bushranging era in Australia is considered to have finished by the 1880s. During the gold rush years, bushrangers were mostly young Australian-born men. They were often good horsemen and they knew how to live comfortably in the bush. Okay. I think there is more to this after this, but we'll read. What's this bit here? Men who would have had different reasons for turning to bushranging. Some, like thousands of the convicts transported to New South Wales, turned to crime out of desperation because of their unemployment or poverty. Others might have seen bushranging as a quick way to gain wealth or even fame. There were also criminals like the bushranger Dan Morgan, who were violent offenders and had a history of criminal behaviour. Whatever the reason, their actions could result in innocent people experiencing terror, losing property, being injured or even killed. What crimes did bushrangers commit? Oh, £4,000 reward, that's a lot of money back then. Bushrangers robbed horses, farms, businesses and individuals. They stole horses, racehorses if possible, gold, personal possessions such as watches, money, mail, horse saddles, guns, ammunition, clothes and food. They also took advantage of people living on isolated homesteads, forcing them to cook food or provide shelter, sometimes at gunpoint. I've got relatives that grew up in Maitland, not Maitland, shit, I forgot the name of the place. Well, it'll come to me in a sec. I'll tell you in a sec. Braidwood. Our relatives going back in the family tree when the bushrangers used to come up into New South Wales, they I don't know if they held up our relatives, but they came onto their property, and that's as much as I can remember being told. They were bushrangers back in the day. Took advantage of people living in isolated homesteads, forcing them to cook food, provide shelter, sometimes at gunpoint. For women living alone, the possibility of a gang of criminals suddenly turning up was a particular concern. Stopping and robbing, bailing up, A mail coach was another crime bushrangers commonly committed. Between October 1863 and October 1864, for example, at least 60 highway robberies were recorded in the colony. Roads were often isolated and in poor condition, so travel by horse and cart was slow. This made it easy for bushrangers to bail up a mail coach and then escape into the bush with their loot. If a gang of bushrangers wanted to bail up a mail coach, they had to be organised and know when and where to strike. For people they robbed, the experience could be terrifying. How successful were they? Some bushrangers were successful at evading capture, especially if they had help from people sympathetic to what they were doing. However, most were arrested by police soon after committing a crime. For example, in 1864, a gang of bushrangers, including a man called John Foster, bailed up the Bathurst mail coach as it travelled through the Blue Mountains. The gang made off with money and valuables. But what happened afterwards? A few days later, Foster was arrested by police in Sydney. At trial, he was found guilty, sentenced to 10 years jail, and then sent to Cockatoo Island in Sydney Harbour. Foster was released from prison in 1872. He was shot and killed soon afterwards when he broke into a house to steal some gold. Like Foster, many bushrangers did not have long and successful careers. Famous Australian bushrangers. A small number of bushrangers did become well known or infamous, which means being well known, but for the wrong reasons. These were often the most violent bushrangers who killed police and innocent people or committed a large number of crimes. This is when photography must have been just in its infancy, Alan, if they're actual photos.
First photos were 1835-ish. So, yeah. It was the first 50 years of photography, I guess.
Yeah. What weapons did bushrangers use? Bushrangers would steal what they wanted. This meant they often had the best type of weapons and the fastest horses. Police used standard equipment issued by the government. In 1865, Ben Hall and his gang bailed up a mail coach between. They knew that a passenger on board was carrying a transfer revolving rifle. A Tranter revolving rifle.
Tranter. Yeah, he was a very, very well known London gunmaker.
Wow. This was the best type of rifle in New South Wales at the time. It could fire 5 bullets without reloading, which was a lot of firepower. As technology developed, guns became more reliable. A bushranger would always want the best.
Yeah. That string of photos of guns at the bottom there, the one on the right hand side owned by Ben Hall, looks to be a Tranter revolver.
What, in the images that I'm showing now?
Yes, there's a couple across. There's a pepper box pistol, and then the next one. I think that might be. I think that's an early Tranter revolver.
Wow. That one was owned by Ned Kelly. That one there, the first one.
Yeah.
Gangs were often heavily armed and each man would carry a range of weapons including pistols, rifles, shotguns, knives, clubs and handcuffs. What happened to bushrangers? Becoming a bushranger had serious consequences. Look closely at the fourth column of this document. what does it tell you about what these consequences could be? Oh, well, there's no way I'm going to read that. That's too small print.
It looked like a lot of them died, either by being executed or dying in gunfights. Yeah, shot dead a lot and executed with, 3 or 4 at a time with executed.
What is the Bushrangers' legacy? Now the Bushrangers are part of the Australian history, their crimes and violence are sometimes forgotten. Instead, people remember their horse riding skills, their ability to survive in the Australian bush, or the fact that they challenged people in authority, such as the police. Life in colonial New South Wales could be very hard, and people were not always treated fairly by the law. But most people did not use violence or turn to crime as a result. While there are stories of bushrangers who were polite and others that returned certain items they stole, most did not.
I think you're down at the bottom now there, Terry.
That's basically it. It's activity for students.
Mhm.
Bushrangers have left a complicated legacy. What do you think? My eyes are blurred out, so I can't read it anymore anyway. Lucky we just got to the end of that. There's just a footnote, and then that's it for that one.
Can I answer Zebulon's question there in the chat? Did the pepperbox pistol blow all its loads at once? No, it was actually a revolver, just that it had multiple barrels rather than a cylinder with one barrel and then one barrel.
Yeah, there was a picture of one there.
Yeah.
That one.
That one. If you click on it, it will go really big.
Yeah.
There you go.
That one.
Yeah, no, that's actually a percussion pepper box. So it's got a hammer on the top, and what you would do, you lift the hammer up, put a percussion cap on it, and fire it, and then lift the percussion cap up, put the hammer up, put a new cap on it, turn the barrel to align the next barrel, and then you can fire it again. But that in the days before a double action revolver, that was about as fast as you were going to fire. I mean, you could probably get off a shot every 7 or 8 seconds. At least until you emptied all the barrels.
And are these still gunpowder type rifles, guns, or these had?
These were muzzle loading, so you put the powder and ball in from the front and rammed it down, and it would have been what we now call black powder, or as they called it then, just gunpowder.
Yeah.
But they used a percussion cap, so that's the same as like the primer in the back of a cartridge.
Right.
So it's a little cup. It's a little cup with a chemical compound in it that basically, when you hit it, it makes a big spark. So when you hit it hard, it explodes, and of course that sends the sparks and flame through the touch hole, and then ignites the powder, which then fires the ball out the front of the barrel. And that's a Colt Navy that you've got there, and that's an early percussion. If you go back, that's the next development from the pepper box that Colt introduced, in that it has you load the cylinders, but you put a single longer barrel on it, and it's set up so that as you cock the hammer, it automatically rotates the cylinder to line the next chamber up with the barrel. And of course you can then put, because you've got the 5 cylinders, you can put a percussion cap on each one, so you can literally pull the hammer back, pull the trigger, and therefore, or hold the trigger back and just keep pulling the hammer back and letting it go, like you used to see in the movies.
That's basically just a double-barreled shotgun, you may as well say.
Well, it's actually a double-barrel flintlock pistol. And again, you would have been, it wouldn't have fired both barrels at once. There would have been a method of selecting which barrel got fired first.
Why is there 2 of them the same? Ah, got a double image. Muzzle loading percussion pistol.
Yeah.
I think we're back to that one.
That's the pepper pot.
I think we've got double. I think I've got doubles here.
Yeah. Oh look, I was right. It is a Tranter revolver.
Yeah. I think we've got doubles. Oh, no, we're back to that one. Royal Irish Constabulary revolver.
Yeah.
1860s.
Yeah, an RIC. That's the design that was eventually taken up by Webley and Scott.
Okay. Oh, well, we'll leave it that there. And we might talk a little bit more about Ned next time, because we've got some other...
On Saturday.
Yeah, on Saturday, yeah. So everyone should know who Ned is. Surely you know who Ned is.
Of course I know who Ned is. Mr.
Ned
Kelly.
Flanders.
Flanders? No, not Ned Flanders.
Yeah. Oakley dokley diddly doo, neighboury.
So a lot of the peanuts out there probably heard about our few issues we've had in Victoria in the last couple of days. First we had the protests from the builders. Thanks, the builders union or the builders in general.
CFMEU.
CWU. Construction Workers Union. It's called. Yeah, they're protesting because they have to work. If they want to work, they have to have their needle. And so they're protesting against that. That's as much as information as I picked up about it.
What you mean? So they don't have to have the vaccination, but if they don't have the vaccination, they can't work.
Yeah.
Seems fair. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, it's not like you. It's not like they're compelling you.
Well, they just won't work then. They lose their job. I know the police were chasing them around all over the place there from what I looked at on the news. They went to one place and then they'd end up in another place. Didn't know where they were going to end up. And then the little bit of an earth tremor they had. I don't know what time that happened. I only heard about it today, so it might have been last. Paul just Paul just bit the dust.
Uh,
Well, Paul lives down that way, so he would have picked up on more information about that than what I would have. I didn't. All I seen we got a bit of an earthquake. I'm not sure of the. Sorry, not today. Next door doing noisy work again, and also very tired.
yeah.
If anyone could bring up anyone, you couldn't make that up. Matt's reasons for not turning up.
Yeah. Can I just personally speak to Matt for a second? About what we were discussing last night, might be a good idea if we got on a voice DM to have a chat about it at some point. Might be easier than just using writing.
Yes. Yeah, you can get your point across a bit better. Or explanation. All that. And if it was me, Alan, I'd rather do it anyway because I hate typing. I know the missus has been getting dud messages back because we have to put the you go up to an image at the shop and you put it through your phone to the website through the government. And she went to the shop. They sent her a text back, say, "Oh, if you were there at this time, blah blah blah." You'd have to, let you know that you'd been there and they'd had a case at that place. So we went.
Yeah.
So she went and got another test done for that, just in case. But then I found out that a person that worked in the mines that we knew, and he got the exact same message, had to take a day off work, and then found out that they got the message back the same as what we did, that it was a false alarm or it was the wrong message. So he lost a day's wages of taking off work because they stuffed up on the government website notification thing for your check-in thing. So I wouldn't have been very happy about that. Yes, Alan, I can hear you typing.
That's not me.
It's not you. How do I know who's typing? How can I tell who's typing if I can't tell it's you?
Look. That's my keyboard, mate.
Well, it wasn't Blue because Blue's muted.
Yeah. It wasn't typing anyway, Terry. It was mouse clicking.
Oh, that's even louder. Matt's saying viral fatigue syndrome. The doc reckons. Viral to fatigue? How can fatigue be viral?
Oh, because it's a bad thing that can last a very long time.
Ah, okay.
I see they're calling it by a different name now, though.
Oh, Spook's got to go and visit Mum. Yeah, Mum. Yeah, your mum's important, Spook.
Yeah.
Yawning is viral. Is that meant to be yawning?
Yeah, yawning is viral.
Yeah.
I've pulled down the gain on the microphone a bit. So
yeah, that's a little bit better.
All right.
I don't know how it gets so damn loud. I haven't changed any of my settings.
Did you
Not
let
so
the
much
device?
loudness, Alan.
Do you let the device
It's not
control
so
the settings, or do you let it control it manually through Windows?
It's not so much the loudness of your voice, Alan. It's the hum in the background that's annoying.
Oh, you might have the washing machine going.
No, the washing machine finished out.
No.
That's the one normal advantage of you starting so late now. The washing machine's finished.
Remember when my computer fan had that slight sound to it, and I've got a new fan in it now, so you don't hear that anymore.
Slight sound. It was more like.
I know, I couldn't hear it with my earphones on. I'd take my earphones off and put my head to the computer and that sound.
Yeah.
All that time I didn't even know it had a sound.
I don't want to upset Matt, but Matt, that's what I've had since 1992. What the doctors are telling me he's got.
Okay. Now, where's that video?
Lindsay.
Who?
Lindsay.
Who?
Lindsay.
Yeah, it is that time, isn't it? I know it's that time because it's the time I'm supposed to be taking my tablets and eating my lunch, because I usually try and sneak that in while Lindsay's on.
I already beat you to it, Alan.
No worry.
No, I beat you to taking the tablets.
Yeah, I know, but it was still quite a bit early for me.
Oh, okay.
And I got a new one to take because I got to throw an approxin in with the rest of the tablets.
Okay, you're better with the clock than me. Blue might not be back until about 10:30ish at the earliest, and it's nearly coming up to 8:30 now for him. And it's 10:30 for me. So that's what, 2 hours. Yeah, it's going to be nearly 12:30 here by the time Blue gets back.
It's telling me it's 8:25 in the morning for Blue.
Yeah. Well, 8:23. 23 minutes past, actually.
Yeah, 23 minutes past if you look at my computer, 25 minutes past if you look at my phone.
Why's your phone wrong?
Probably because it's not actually connected to a network, even though it's trying to get the time off the network.
Yeah. What, Lindsay has an AE map? Yeah, I know, Dora. I couldn't work that one out yet. Well, let's find out, shall we?
Well, he is kind of AE. It's just that his AE is a bit weirder than everybody else's AE.
Why does Lindsay have a kidney on her? I think the peanuts are all asking the questions before we watch the video.
Of course!
Any other questions out there, peanuts? A bit weirder. That's quite an understatement. Oh, I'm just waiting for the P word. What's the meaning of life? Carl wants me to tell you the meaning of life. 42. That help? Dora says procrastinate. No, it's only a 4-letter word, Dora.
Get on with it!
Welcome to some information on flat earth knowledge, flat earth philosophy. I'll try to avoid the word science because science is too connected to the BS of the spinning ball. So we don't want to get confused with BS science as opposed to true flat earth knowledge. I've got a few things to talk about.
I forgot Lindsay's speed.
All by memory, because if I start trying to take notes, I get all confused because it's just like playing with a can of worms, trying to line them all up. Doesn't work. So I just try and get it all out from what's in my head by memory, so bear with me. First of all, we'll start off with this carotenoid over the flat earth. And if you read some historical books, you'll find there's a trench. It's to do with the subduction of Earth. Earth renews itself through subduction. There's the Lomonosov Ridge the Russians found back in the 50s or late 40s and kept it quiet for about 7 years.
Stop! Pause! I'm pretty sure his line follows the spreading faults, not the subduction faults. Just saying, Mike.
You made me stop that for what you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, there's different types of fault lines. There's the spreading ones where the plates are moving apart and the magma wells up and pushes everything apart, like the one down the middle of the Atlantic and stuff. And then there's the subduction faults, like the one down the west coast of America, and I think for much of the rest of the Ring of Fire around the edge of the Pacific, where the plates are pushing together and disappearing under. And I'm pretty sure the line he's drawn and what he called them are arse backwards.
You don't want me to there's no need to rewind then, if you got it wrong.
No, there's no, because you can literally see the line, the ring that he's drawn on the map, which would be kind of roughly where the spreading fault lines are, and he called them subduction, which is the opposite type of fault lines.
So what's the two? So one's called subduction, and what's the other one called?
I can't remember the proper name for it, but that's basically where the two plates are moving apart, and it gets filled in with stuff coming up from the mantle. The magma comes up. So, you know, like we see down the middle of the North Atlantic with Iceland and dare I say the Madeira, where the volcano's just started again. Oh, and across the middle of the Pacific where we've got that little string of islands called Hawaii.
No, my question was the two of them. You said he said two of them, the subduction and the other one.
He's drawn on there the spreading ones, and he called them the subduction ones. So he's got it arse backwards,
right,
as usual.
Right, so subductions are coming together, and the opposite ones pulling apart, going away.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. But he didn't say what they're called. It just said one.
Well, he's drawn a line, and then he's called it the wrong type of fault.
Right.
It's all connected to this big, what we call it, underwater valley or whatever. It must be connected to the,
whatever.
it comes out down to the Atlantic, out around the bottom of Australia, right around here, and then back in up here through the Pacific Ocean. So you have all the, but then there's minor, just like up in space, you have a main event, and you have all the minor events. Just like in a magnet, you cut it down, you get smaller and smaller compartments to it, or fractals of. But we've got this. It's related to as above, so below. What's up there and what we see in the stars and everything is connected to down here. We get this shape. This basically comes out, it spirals out. If you think of the moon cycle or whatever, spiraling out in that Fibonacci cycle. If you just dot it each day of the month and go out, then it comes back in again. But you can imagine it's going around all the time. But that's another matter of for bodies. But anyway, back to Earth here. We've got this underwater, like this. Now, the funny thing is, well, it's not that funny because I keep talking about it. Like I say, as above, so below. We get this cardanoid in our cup of coffee if we're facing the sun. You want to try it? The sun will be here, back to this way. Right? Let's turn around, might be easier to look, understand. So if you can imagine, when you look, creation is from the centre of the flat earth. Everything is created from the centre. So if you're back here and you're looking, things are going to appear to come around like this, aren't they? And that's what they do. Because everything spirals out of the centre north vortex. There's a centre north vortex in here. There's a slice of the donut. The centre of creation is back in here, not inside the solid donut, is it? Separate. Well, creation's right back at the centre. It's the centre north. Centre north, creation. There's a vortex that comes all the way up, look, to the tropics. It's turning. So as a star, just say it's night time, and the star comes around, you'll see it come out. It's all reflected out here. So imagine you're looking, there's a big spiral back here. As that turns, the stars turn with it. So we have two effects. You've got the northern one and the southern one. But I've just drawn the one. We're just looking at one. So just imagine you can see that from the north, and we see one on the south. So if we're out in the south, you'll tend to see the star come around from the northeast, east, and then over us, and then disappear as it goes back around. Everything's spiraling out of the centre. I hope you can think about that. I can't explain it very well, but that's the way it is. Look at that.
I can't explain it at all, you mean.
I'm waiting for him to explain something.
So no matter where you are on the earth, you'll always get this pattern. That's your image. But guess what? It all shrinks back onto your dome.
Huh?
And so that's your horizon. That image will be reflected back onto your one circular dome of horizon, arc of
Yeah,
horizon.
but what if you're a little bit over to the
No
right?
matter where you are around here,
Yeah,
that will turn
okay.
and reflect onto there. So let's say it's daylight, anywhere around here, put your cup of coffee out, you'll get this carbanoid look in your cup.
So if you just move 10 centimetres to your left or right, your dome moves with you.
Yeah, and obviously the dome's made out of heat shrink plastic.
Heat shrink.
It is a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
Heat shrink. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And that's where the sun is. That's the centre of creation. It'll always look like that, because everything is coming out of the centre of Earth. Got that? Now Dave, that moron, was talking about flight times. Well, you only have to do a little bit of research and you find, well, everything he says is garbage. You take flight times near the equator between, say, Venezuela, all the way around to, say, Nigeria. That's the widest part of Earth apparently, but it's 5 hours or something. But then you come right out to, say, New Zealand, Auckland to Perth. I think it's similar. It's the same. And you're crossing the same amount of longitudes. If you have to work on longitudes, don't worry about the expansion. You're still working on longitudes. 15 degrees out here is still 15 degrees back here. So work on the longitudes. It's the same. It's a 5.5 hour flight, same longitudes. Yet shouldn't it be a lot longer flying out here, according to old silly man Dave? And on their spinning ball, it should be a lot longer back on their spinning ball. And then you've got to take their pear shape into consideration.
No.
Pause. That's just ridiculous.
Well, how did he come to that?
Because the circumference, because the circumference flipping well matters, and it's going to get a lot bigger the further you get from the damn middle.
And it's not 5 hours from Australia to New Zealand. It's only about 3.
Are you sure he didn't go the long way?
He must have done, because he is. I mean, let's face it. We do know he is actually from New Zealand. He ought to know how long the bloody flight times are.
Bulges more at the equator. Well, shouldn't that be a lot longer to get from Venezuela to Nigeria than it would from Auckland to Perth? No, they're the same. This is where you have to start thinking, because despite what we see the longitude spreading like this, because it's creation from the centre, it's coming out, so it has to expand outwards. But because we are, as individuals, are all centre of the universe, come from the black hole, because everything's from the black hole exploded out, everything moves with you. So basically, the light is parallel. And this is where science tells you that the light's coming in parallel rays from the sun. And it's not really, it's just that you're the centre of the universe, so you expand with it. So basically, everything is parallel with you, but you will expand out with the electromagnetic field, because we're all part of the electromagnetic field, so we're all moving with it. We're just moulding with it. This is what we can't get out. We're part of this
Pause.
I know.
Electromagnetic field. It's complete and utter bollocks. Sorry, but you know. Although the one thing he did get right is that as the universe is constantly expanding, we do expand with it. So you know there is that. But he is mostly just completely and utterly wrong.
Okay.
Electromagnetic field. We're fractals of light. We are light beings. So this is the best. That's how you do a flat Earth map. There's no other way around it. You have to do it, but you have to then think of it like this: coming out of the centre of creation, it's all reflected out to the equator area, say, because creation is just this one centre point here, and it goes to the equator. Everything beyond there is the parabolic reflection of the north, atmospheric wise, or everything from in here wise, seen at night. It's a parabolic image out here. It's just a reflection. But terra firma is different to this. The Egyptian explain all this, like this is... Oh, no, it's going a bit deep, but anyway. You've got a fixed and stationary Earth on the black hole, the state of rest. Then you have the sun, where all the action is happening. Sun creates all the action in here. And it's all being reflected from here. We are part of it. So if this is a reflection, parabolic image, this one here, of this, then it's going to go like this.
He thinks reflections are magic.
You have moulded with it. You're just part of it. You're just very hard to explain. But this is why they fold it back around and create a ball, spinning ball design. But obviously we're not spinning it sideways or upside down. Now when you think about it, if you go back to their ball, if you're in an aeroplane, you're flying, but how do you get your altitude? Altitude is governed by the horizon, right? So you're way up there, there has to be...
No, it's not.
I was going to say, if your altitude's governed by your horizon, you aim your horizon as you're flying, you just crash into the ground.
It's the other way round. Your horizon depends on your altitude. He's got the IV and DV the wrong way round. He needs to go to the Quantum Eraser School of IV and DV.
Be a curve, wouldn't there? It's only 12,000 k's radius, isn't it, the spinning ball? So, and if you're going to be flying around, say, I haven't got my spinning ball here.
It's not 12,000 k's radius, it's only 6,371 k's radius.
Well, he got that wrong.
Yeah.
Say around the south, New Zealand to Perth, isn't your plane going to be like this? If you're going to be following the horizon, and it's not flat, obviously it's flat because the Earth is flat, but you know, consider their ball, the plane would have to be like this, which means everybody in there is leaning to their left, with north to the right.
Whoa! You're
flying around. Think about it. No, but nothing makes sense, but they come up with all this garbage all the time. Just like the...
Oh, man.
I think Lindsay needs to learn the derivation of the word horizon.
Yeah.
Especially as it's ancient Greek. And basically means the circle of stuff that you can see. The limiting circle. So a horizon is supposed to be a circle. Ooh. Okay.
The tilting Earth. The other bit of garbage is the tilting Earth. They have to say, because south is a lot larger, they'll say the sun, the spinning ball's closer to the sun for the southern summer, right? Which means, and this one has to be further away, because you're getting less sun. Then in the north here, so it's a smaller area. So they have to have it way over here, and that suits their analemma, because it has to be smaller back here in the north. You know, the sun's analemma, it's a lot smaller at the top in the north. So this is their excuse. Hang on, where are we? We're like this, yeah, like that. Southern sun, it comes around here, so it has to be further away to explain the analemma. But, you know, in saying this, if this is further here, because that's the elliptic, they give you an elliptic, where they're talking ball garbage, then what they're saying is the season from here, from the equinox, all the way here, this is a lot longer. This season would have to be a lot longer, wouldn't it, than this season here, if it's just a spinning ball like this. But no, it's not. It's no different, is it? I mean, just look at the analemma, for one, and two, but then they say, oh, no, it's so minute you don't notice it. You know, nothing's noticeable. You have to make up a story and say, oh no, yeah, it is, but it's not. That's the garbage. See? Tilted garbage.
And yet, if you look at the
And
equinoxes,
the analemma,
it's
and look
not
if there,
half and
it's
half. So if you split the equinoxes, if you let them divide the year into two, those two halves aren't the same, Lindsay, which means that one half of the year, equinox to equinox, is actually shorter than the other one.
if they're
And
Earth,
obviously
isn't
it's
it?
the equinox today, isn't it? It's the equinox in about 7 hours.
Is a sphere, but more pear-shaped. Then, you know, going around the sun like this. We should see that pear shape taking effect in the sun's analemma. Affecting the sun's analemma, but it doesn't, does it? You know. When you look at the flat earth, although the analemma is out here, they show it out here. In effect, you're talking about the whole earth, so you've got the smaller zone in the north here and the bigger zone out here. So obviously it's bigger out here because of the southern hemisphere. You can't deny it. It's the equinox, the solstice. That should be the same as that. But there's nothing to show that the earth is pear-shaped spinning ball in this figure, and it doesn't show this being having a longer season than this out here. If anything, this should be a longer season, but it doesn't quite work like that. So longitude 15 degrees is 15 degrees. 1 hour, 1 hour. And even if you go right up north and go on the spinning ball, if you go from Canada, Saskatchewan, to say Norway, you have the very small longitudes right up here. But you look at it, it's about a 9.5 hour flight. It travels about 7 longitudes. And then compare that with the Nigeria to Venezuela, and then compare it from Auckland to Perth. They're all the same. They're all pretty relative to one another. It's just garbage trying to say that things would be different out here at flight times. So let's go back to creation, eh? Look back in here, the Milky Way in the sun, in the centre, the part of the donut we do not see because we're in the solid part. Blow it up a bit, it's like this. It's inside the Milky Way. That's the black hole. You've got the two forces coming this way and the two forces coming this way. Everything's a dual system. No matter what's happening, there'll be a dual action. So there'll be a dual action here, there'll be a dual action here. Then you take one action, two actions. Then you break that down again. In Egyptian, this would be, the black hole is Amun Ra. I'll do another video on that. I'll break it all down, how the Egyptians explain it all. So the black hole, around the black hole, the sun has created the spark, the voltage in the whole system under pressure because it's in this tight magnetic field.
What?
That's where they get plasma. Scientists know that. That's what it is, plasma. So bang, the pressure's built up because this is the dual system. At the start of creation, the primordial waters separated. There was the it's all about compression and contraction. Compression and contraction, magnetic fields. And this is what the sun does over the year. north, pushes down, contraction, pops out to the south.
What? Oh no.
Like this. Expansion and contraction. The tides twice a day. The sun once a month, up, down. New moon, full moon, back to new moon. The sun, all the way up to the equinox, up to the northern summer, down to the equinox, down to the solstice, December solstice. But it's all about pressure, expansion and contraction. Contraction, pushing it out. Expansion, or is that expansion? Contraction, expansion, contraction. You look at Earth, the electrical system, electrical, magnetic field within here. Everything is a projection. Earth and sea is the capacitor. Atmospheric moisture is the resistor.
How's it project?
Downward cycle of pressure is the southern field summer. Or expansion. Upward cycle is the northern summer. Follow magnetic field pressure. The sun is in here.
I did.
This is the real sun. We see the sun here, obviously. Everything's in this tropical region right in the middle. Because that's in the middle. Everything has been amplified out. It's created this. So everything's hanging around here. But then you've got all the background stars. And they're all in the background, aren't they? Holographic projection from the north to the equator. Equator to the south. Two hemispheres. Just like the human brain. From the same person, aren't they? From the same head. They are of the same, from the same head. Just opposites. It's the dual system. Say a female, male. There's a male and female in everything. The feminine, the feminine is the 9. We can go into that a little bit. Number 9 is in here. That's the lucky spot. The unseen. Divine number 9. The feminine. See, 666. Carbon 18. 1 plus 8. We're given the 8,
What?
but we're missing the cornerstone.
Carbon 18.
The cornerstone is the
What?
lucky 9. Is the divine number 9.
Where's-
You have to go.
Where's he getting what from?
Did he say carbon 18?
Carbon 18. I've never heard of that one.
Carbon 18.
Is that a new one, is it?
Oh man, yeah. Carbon 18.
Okay.
Go to this place to be reborn, recreated, to go back into nature. The place of divine creation is in here. It's all here. You imagine, you picture this as your brain. You go in there.
Wally wants to know, is that a butt on the right? No, they're Phil's boobs. Professor Phil calls them boobs.
From the primordial waters is dark matter of the brain. And it's to do with waters. When it's parts, the moisture, it's about water. And then the sun creates the photons or whatever, or the magic, the life, into the water. Gives it matter. Creates everything. But the matter comes up from the ocean, from out of the water. The bottom of the earth comes out of the earth. The earth is what creates everything. As the earth changes and moves, things happen, it comes up through the ocean. Change the layer of the ocean. The ocean changes the layer of the atmosphere. This is climate change.
Oh, that's
We
climate
can't alter it
change,
much
is
as
it?
people.
That's climate
It's from
change.
down here,
There we
comes
go.
up. The
Now
sea
we've got it
affects this.
figured
This
out.
does not affect the ice. This affects the ice in the sea. What's coming from below the ocean. Left eye is your right brain. Right eye is your left brain. Picture of Earth again. The sun creates life. Everything that moves in our world is due to the sun and its magnetic field. Celestial navigation. Check this side out. Heaps of information in there. And that idiot science Professor Dave was going on about. So it must be catching on, this dome of horizon. Everybody having their own arc of horizon. Everything coming back. You are always zenith. It says it in here. It's got it there. It explains this dome. You always zenith of your dome, and things come back to you. Where's the angular? Why would there be an angular difference in that sunrise to sunset if it's a beautiful arc like this over you, with a disc looking at you? Look, it's always right angles, isn't it? You know, spilling ballers, they get on your site and say the stupidest things because they're ignorant of all science, and they're not thinkers. Look, right angles, always right angles to you. Dave mentioned this. Quickly skimmed over it though, but it's in science and physics. Even Even physicists are now talking about this. We all have our own arc of horizon.
I don't think we've ever argued about how the sun's, wherever it's, on the angle it is, wherever it is in the sky. I think he's lost what we're talking about there for the flat Earth.
The sun sets on your horizon, only 5k or so away. Believe it or not. Rise up. What happens? Rise up. Your arc will rise up. Rise up, Daniel. You will see further.
I'd love him to show us the mathematical derivation of all this, so that we can actually make predictions of where the sun's going to rise up and get to and get down, and and where we should see the analemma.
But we're not arguing.
Interesting.
We're not arguing against that the sun rises on one side of us and then goes across the sky and then sets on the other side, on the flat Earth part of it.
And of course, it doesn't. Of course, we all know that the sun doesn't actually do that. We know that we just rotate around.
Yeah, we're rotating, which gives the effect. Yeah. But he's trying to relate that to the flat Earth part when we're thinking of the flat Earth where the sun's rotating around in a circle above us as the flat Earth model.
Doesn't work. We know it doesn't work.
So I can't see how he's sort of agreeing with the sun going across the sky as we see it. But he's saying it's
and he's making loads of little ad hoc personal dome. See, the ad hoc personal dome is great because it just means that you can explain everything by saying personal dome.
Yeah.
And but the thing is that with our model we can successfully predict lots of stuff, like where the sun's going to come up.
And you're stupid and don't understand if you climb a mountain you'll see further. No, your arc will rise up. So you rise up, you're there, these will now come to there. They're always that far away from you. You will never get to them. It's explained in physics. It's a scientific way they explain it all. Go higher.
How?
Ends up here. You never get to it. Get in a plane. You can fly up amongst the stars in a plane. They'll start disappearing. That's why you never get to the sun, never get to the moon.
What? Well, the closer you get to it, the further it gets away. Or it just keeps moving away from you.
You can keep chasing it, and then you're going to crash. You're going to crash because you're going to hit the firmament. It's not a solid dome, just a magnetic field. We're a part of the flux. You can't get out. So then you have to think.
Well, it has to be a barrier of some sort.
Physical world. So then you have to think. Well, there's the pressure. You're going to hit the pressure barrier there.
But then it has to be some sort of
The pressure barrier.
Then it has to be some sort of surface because he said it projects. So how could a non-physical barrier project something if it's non-physical? Yeah.
And you're going to crash. You've seen all the rockets and that, and the balloons going up so far and popping as they start falling apart because they're leaving all the pressure that holds everything together. You go up, it starts falling apart. It's basically what's happening internally with your body, giving more room to the say the atoms. What are they going to do? If they give the atoms more room, they're going to vibrate more. There's more room to move, which heats up your blood, starts cooking you from inside out.
What?
Did you get that, Paul?
You get microwaved too.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that sounds like he's going to get microwaved.
9, divine number, 9, 369. Tesla mentions these numbers, the hidden numbers, the secrets. 3 a.m. on the 6th day of the 9th month was the day of creation, the Jesus story. Black hole.
What?
See, the black hole is the father.
How could it be?
The sun is the sun.
Let's pause it there for a moment. I mean, how can the day of creation be in the 9th month?
How do you figure that one out?
Yeah, how do you figure that out?
What happened in the 8th
I
month?
don't know.
What
was
were all
happening
those
in the
months
8th month?
before that?
Or the 6th
What?
month? Or the 4th month?
Mind you, people just don't know how to math with dates, do they? Because I heard somebody when I had to go to the post office this morning and come back, I overheard somebody talking, and she was saying that 9 o'clock tonight is the 21st hour of the 21st day of the whatever, and then she said of the 21st year of the 21st century, and I really wanted to turn around to her and say, no, it's not. The 21st year of the century isn't until next year.
Yeah, that's right.
Because there was no year zero. And as I understand it, in very late Victorian England, they could comprehend this because they didn't start they didn't have the celebrations for the start of the 20th century until New Year's Eve on 1900. So at the end of 1900 for the start of 1901 was when they celebrated the new centenary. Whereas we all got it completely wrong and celebrated a year early.
S-U-N. S-O-N. There's Ra. This was Amun, Amunet and Amun Ra. The great, divine, unseen, infinity. To get to the Father, the black hole, you go through me, the Sun. He is the supreme being, is the black hole, the awesome thing of creation, and the Sun being created on it, the electrical part. But you have to go through him to get to him. This is the Christ, and this is the Jesus story. The Son. To get to the supreme being, you go through the Son. Get to the Father, you go through me. There is there. What else can I say? Simon Dan, what else were you talking about? Oh. If only I could do graphics and put it all up on a TV, it would blow everybody's minds. I could explain it beautifully, but I don't know anybody can do it. You don't just go out in a small place where I am and say you're a flat earther and say I need someone to come and help me do the graphics. Not there's the New Zealand man, they're dozy-doze. They go along with all the mainstream media, every bit of bullshit they're taught at school.
A graphic artist, as soon as he started to explain what he wants, any graphic artist wouldn't do it because they wouldn't understand what he wants.
No.
Actually, on this little island I'm living on, I've met a few people, a couple of guys that think like me, but they're not Kiwis. Well, they are now, but they're recent immigrants. Go figure. One's from Australia and one's from England. I haven't met a Kiwi that thinks like me or knows the truth. So,
There's a couple of New Zealand flat earthers that I have heard of them. That's finished actually. Finished at 27 and 13.
Yep. Wow.
No, I don't think anyone on Earth thinks like you, Lindsay, not just from New Zealand. The way that flirts blur meanings and context of words makes total sense. When they fail to understand the words being spelt differently mean they are different words.
Right. Where's my mouse gone?
Right. Sending messages to the correct person.
Yeah.
Type in the correct box.
Yeah, everyone tag Alan out in the peanut gallery. Say good day. Oh, going to be a granddad, Phil. Again, or your first one? Don't tag me now.
Well, I kind of, yeah.
All right, you ready for a quiz, hey?
Yeah, we haven't got much competition on
Go.
the panel tonight, Paul.
Okay. That's fine.
Alan, tag you're it. They're all tagging you now.
Okay, 10 hard questions coming up.
I'll see you at the end of it.
I reckon you'll get a few, Terry. All right, you know the rules.
Wait a minute,
What are
it's
the
taking me a
rules?
while to read what quiz it is.
You've got to remember the rules, yeah.
Oh no, rules, is there rules there? I was
Gotta
just reading the
clarify the
title
rules
for
first.
what this is.
Yep. The rules are... All right. Question 1. Right, question 1. This man proposed a thought experiment in which rare random fluctuations produce self-aware entities, called his namesake brains. Who was this man? Anyone got any idea? So we've just got Alan and Terry in the panel.
On the panel, yeah. Yeah, blue.
Yeah, afraid so.
Yeah, blue.
All right,
blues very
okay.
well.
Well, I won't wait. I won't wait for the panel then.
No,
I'll give
don't
you
bother.
three. I'll give you 3 clues, and then I'll give the answer because we've already got people out in the peanut gallery who've got it. Well done to S. Thurston II with Boltzmann brains. Boltzmann was the right one. A method named for this scientist involves simulating collisions in a Newtonian fluid rather than solving the Navier-Stokes equation. Yeah. Yep. I won't go through all the rest of them, but the correct answer was Boltzmann. Yay. And he has a scientific formula on his gravestone.
Oh, so you might
He
as
has
well
a
just read the
constant,
last
doesn't he?
clue. Might as well just read the last clue, which is the easiest one. Name this
Yeah.
Australian physicist.
Name this Austrian. I'm not Australian. Can't you read, Terry? Austrian. Austrian physicist who names a constant equal to the ideal gas constant over Avogadro's constant and also a probability distribution for molecular speeds along with Maxwell. It's Boltzmann.
Would you have got it
Yeah.
with that one, Alan? That clue?
I would have got it with that one.
Right.
Yeah, good.
I
Yeah,
might have
Ludwig
kind of got there
Boltzmann.
with the clue with the K in it.
yeah. Ludwig Boltzmann was the one. Okay, question 2. Paul Krasner connects the Patty Hearst kidnapping and murders named for these objects in a 2000 book. What are these objects? Milkman Dano, why isn't it ever Hitler?
Yeah, you've never had a Hitler answer.
I should make it Hitler next week
Mm.
for all 10 answers. While running for Minneapolis City Council in 1985, George Belair gave these objects to two groups of elderly voters. What are these objects? Not wheelchairs, no. Who done it? Yeah, that's what we're after. No, this is a what is it one, not a who done it.
And Viagra.
Not Viagra. These objects were crucial in the testimony of psychiatrists George Solomon and Martin Blinder. They're not moon rocks, no. Not walking sticks and not knives. Bill Clinton put one of these food items in the official White House Millennium Time Capsule.
A McDonald's burger?
Alan's coming. You are correct, Alan. Well done. Just see if the peanuts are going to get this. There is a bit of a delay. Not magic mushrooms. Due to a banana rationing during World War II, this food's original banana flavouring was permanently changed to vanilla. And we have the correct answer from John Rapp. Out in the peanuts, well done. It is Twinkies. Well done, Alan, too, for getting Twinkies, yeah.
I just said hamburger. That's what I said. Hamburger. A McDonald's hamburger. They last.
I reckon this is the best. This is the best clue, though. A transition from eating healthy food to a diet rich in this specific food was used as evidence of the deterioration of Dan White's mental health, which was used to acquit him of the assassinations of George Moscone and Harvey Milk. So they actually did an experiment and showed that Twinkies make you go mentally deficient.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the Twinkie. Well done.
It's supposed to survive through a nuclear
Question
holocaust.
3. Yeah. In other words, they never go stale.
Yeah.
They're like McDonald's burgers, they never go
Yeah.
off.
Yeah,
Got so many preservatives in.
fries.
Yeah. Yeah. Question 3. Criticism of one of these objects led its creator to claim some people were verbal rather than visual, meaning they couldn't use these objects but could be heard. What are these objects? Okay. Ruth Rosenholtz created mongrels to help model how the brain processes these objects. Not a Moog synthesizer, no. Not typewriters, no. Not mind maps. In 2007, Eddie Habhur proposed a global standardization of these objects. The Aztec death whistle. No. Not a theremin either. Not kaleidoscopes. A controversial example of these objects was inspired by a previous design by Henry C. Beck. Not keyboards, not mice, Not long relationships. No. All right, I'll give you some easier clues now. Robert D'Amato won a 1964 contest to design these objects with a version that removed the standard colour coding by manufacturer. S. Thurston and Clive Wells, you're on the right track, but what kind of maps? One of these objects was redesigned after the completion of the Christie Street connection.
Typing.
Typing. Yeah, I guess that would be your way of saying the correct answer, Alan. Yep. And I'll accept Clive's answer as well. Yeah. Yep, that redesign led to a debate between John Tarnack's geographic design and the diagrammatic design of Massimo Vignelli. Yeah, the first redesign of that example of these objects was created after a merger of the IRT and the Brooklyn Manhattan Transit Corporation. You're on the right track. Yeah. What objects are designed to assist in navigating certain transit systems such as the MTA? It's these things, you know?
Yeah, I should have got it when you said...
Or underground maps, or tube maps, yeah.
You
I
know
was trying to think of the name of
it.
it.
Paul?
Oh, subway.
He was always known as Harry Beck.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, the things that they're maps, but they're not like a scale ratio like map.
No.
They're much like a circuit diagram.
They're like a schematic
for
really,
electronics.
Aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, electronic.
Yeah.
They're based. Actually, Harry Beck based the original London Underground map on an electrical schematic diagram.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Because that was what he'd been doing beforehand. He'd been a draftsman drawing the damn things.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, often you don't need to know what the distance between stations is. You just need to know what is the next station.
Yeah. The order they come in and where there's multiple lines, the places where you can change the lines. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Clive got that.
Okay, question 4. Yeah, question 4. Tosca and Cout are this type of animal in a novel titled Tosca and Nut are this type of animal in a novel titled for their memoirs by Japanese-German author Yoko Tawada. What are these animals? They're not panda bears, and they're not mice, and they're not seals or tigers. The US intervention in the Russian Civil War involved a 5,000-man unit named for these animals, landing in Arkhangelsk, Russia. What kind, Alan? That would be correct, Alan. Not otters? No. Donald Tovey famously described Sibelius's violin concerto as a polonaise for these animals. Milkman Dan, what kind? You were beaten anyway by John Rapp, who got the correct answer. Well done, John Rapp, for polar bears. Yeah. The coat of arms for Greenland has one of these animals on it. Nanook is the Inuit god of these animals, which often feed on walruses, Arctic foxes and seals. Name this Arctic predator whose population is dwindling due to loss of hunting ground as a result of climate change. I love this graphic. It's a bit like the ducks, the little ducks that we get when they're about 3 weeks old. They're so top heavy and they run around. They're easy to tip over. When they tip over, they land on their back and they kick their legs and just waddle side to side, kicking their legs, trying to flip back over. It's funny. Polar bears was the correct answer. Question 5. The technique by which formations on this structure are removed through the use of ultrasound energy and aspiration is phacoemulsification. What is this structure that they remove things from via this technique? Not kidney stones. No. That was an obvious answer, but no, that's not the right one. This structure is flattened and thickened in the process of accommodation, which is accompanied by compression or dilation of Cloquet's canal. Not lungs. No, not kidneys. Mutations in fibrillin lead to the dislocation of this structure because fibrillin is contained in the zonule of Zinn, which connects the capsule part of this structure to the ciliary body. That should give you an idea of where this is. Not the pancreas, not the gallbladder, not Klingons, no, not tumours, not gallstones, not hemorrhoids. Not head hair, Alan, no. The hardening and yellowing of this structure causes nuclear sclerosis, which is the most common type of age-related cataract. Come on, Terry.
You'd think I'd know, wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's not the cornea, but light is focused onto the retina by what biconvex structure in the eye?
Or
That is right. Not the iris, Terry.
ah,
Alan, you're correct. And who got it? In the chat there quite a way back. It was the Clive Wells with the lens of the eye. That is the correct answer. The lens of the eye. Yeah. Okay, question 6. To account for their bizarre presence in medieval illuminated manuscripts, fighting knights, scholar Lillian Bandel claimed that these animals represented the Lombards in those artworks. So, what animals were depicted in these artworks that were fighting knights? Not dragons, no. That was the immediate go-to answer, but no, it's not right. Not lions, not griffins, no. The disease, schistosomiasis, is caused by flatworms whose vector is these animals. Not rabbits, not lions, not dragons. No, not chihuahuas. Not pigs or unicorns or lizards. The practice of raising these animals as food is known as heliculture. Not bears, no. Not horses, not cows. Not boars and not sheep, nor camels. The giant triton type of this animal can grow up to 1.5 feet long and feeds on starfish. Not deer. No. Not axolotls. Ah. Hermaphrodite examples of these animals may use love darts to mate. Not chickens or fish or weasels or newts. The murex genus of these animals was used by Phoenicians to make royal purple dye. Not sea otters, not sea urchins. Kind of right, Alan, but not the right word. Name these shelled gastropods which are eaten in French cuisine as escargot. That is correct, Alan. Well done. Snails. And that was put up by, where was it? By Facty. Right back in the chat there. Well done. The correct answer was snails.
Damn, I thought I heard you say not snails at one point, which is why I didn't put snails down earlier.
Ah, no, I definitely didn't say not snails.
Okay, I must have misheard you then.
Yeah. Okay, question 7. Arthur Jenness conducted an experiment on this phenomenon in which participants were asked to estimate the number of jelly beans in a jar. What is this phenomenon? The autokinetic effect was used in another experiment on this phenomenon in which participants were asked how much a spot of light moved. Not random chance, not X-rated, not the wisdom of crowds, not vision. You're kind of right, Clive, but that's not really the word. No. That experiment was conducted by Muzaffar Sharif. Not spatial visualization, no. Not The Price is Right. Ray vision. No. In another experiment on this phenomenon, several Confederates lied when asked to compare the length of lines. Okay, we have a correct answer out in the peanuts. Well done to First Death for getting the exact correct word of conformity. What phenomenon in which people alter their behaviours or opinions in response to those of other people? It is conformity. Perfect example in this graphic here. Everyone getting in the lift facing backwards except him, so he turns around. Conformity was the correct answer. Okay, question 8. At the end of this battle, one general offered to adopt Susanna Dickinson's daughter, Angelina, and have her educated in his his native capital. Sorry. What was this battle?
I think we need Farmer's Boy.
No, I reckon we need blue, actually. Captain John C. Neal used artillery in this battle that was earlier captured in a skirmish at Concepcion, along with gifted artillery from the New Orleans Greys. What was this battle?
Welcome
Not
to the
Battle of
video.
Somme, not the Battle of the Bulge. Not Gettysburg, no. This battle is said to have caused the Runaway Scrape, along with the Goliad Massacre. The peanuts are onto it. The co-commanders of the defence of this battle were William B. Travis and James Bowie, the latter of whom became an American folk hero. And you're right, Alan, it was the Alamo. The Battle of the Alamo. Well done. Yeah, Battle of the Alamo. Question 9. Michael Dugan was fired during this conflict for revealing plans to bomb a capital city. What was this conflict? Clive's doing well tonight. That's right, Alan. Veterans of this conflict suffered from a namesake syndrome, which is thought to be a result of the combination of a tropical disease, vaccinations, and organophosphate insecticides. Which war was it? What conflict? Not the Korean War, not Hogan's Heroes. Alan's got it. Carl's kind of got it, but that's not the name I'd give it, Carl. One side of this conflict intentionally pumped 6 to 8 million barrels of oil into a body of water, polluting about 400 miles of coastline. Not Vietnam, no. Sheikh Jabbar al-Sabah fled his nation during an invasion in this conflict. Not the Father's Day massacre. Not the Korean War, no. Come on. A meeting in Helsinki saw the United States and the Soviet Union agree to intervene in this conflict, saw many casualties along the highway of death. That is correct, Clive Wells, finally. Yes. And biggest doggers, it's the Gulf War, and John Rapp, the Gulf War. The Persian Gulf War, yeah. In which Saddam Hussein led Iraq, invaded neighbouring Kuwait, yeah.
Specifically the first one.
Yeah. Remember they set alight all those oil wells too. Yeah. The Persian Gulf War. Last question. Condon, now get Condon, and shortly introduced a factor equal to this constant raised to the magnetic quantum number in the formula for the spherical harmonics. What is this number? What is this factor? What is this constant? Okay, often used for rearrangement in thermal physics, this triple product rule or cyclic chain rule sets the product of 3 partial derivatives equal to this constant. What is this constant? It's not the speed of sound in water. It's not 42. No. And it's not 4 either. It's not pi. not Planck's constant. No. Exchanging two fermions results in their wave function being multiplied by this constant. What is this constant? No. Due to Lenz's law, this constant multiplies the time derivative of magnetic flux in Faraday's law, and this number multiplies the product of the spring constant and displacement in Hooke's law, because the restoring force acts in the opposite direction of motion.
We need Blue again, don't we?
I know Blue would have got this because he was talking about it right at the start of before we actually went online.
No. I can't remember.
Yeah,
Even from
he
then.
was. He was.
I
I
know.
knew he would have got this answer. And we have Clive Wells out in the peanuts with the correct answer of -1. Give this constant equal to I squared and the cosine of pi. It is -1. Yeah. -1. There you go. Clive, you did exceptionally well today. Well done. That's your quiz for today.
Yeah. Shame there wasn't a little more competition in the inside chat.
That's
Maybe I
okay.
should have.
That's
Maybe I
okay.
should have been sending some of my guesses to Terry.
Yeah, your
Don't worry.
guesses, yeah, as a clue.
I'll make it. I'll make a quiz specially for Terry one week.
Yeah, I
Or
don't
I'll
think
send him
you.
the
I don't
answers.
think you. I don't think there's a possibility you could make a quiz that I'd be able to answer the questions to.
I reckon there would be. And it'd be all about Holden's.
No, I don't know that much about Holden.
Ah, don't you?
No, I don't know that much about
I'll
them.
make
Not
it
the
about
newer ones, anyway.
I'll make it about instead.
Yeah, you could make it about British thirds because Vauxhalls
Yeah.
are flipping awful. So, I'm sorry guys, but Vauxhalls are much worse than as up here.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
your Holdens might be, but because you know the only good up here are the ones that have actually got the Holden badge on, don't you?
Okay.
Because we do occasionally get some Commodore VXRs or whatever they call them imported.
Yeah.
Every now and again they decide that it'd be a good idea to import some V8 Holdens, and then like they sell a few and then they go off the market again.
I think the earliest shape that we had was the VN, but you didn't get it
That
in
would
the
have-
you didn't get it in the V8 or the, I don't know if it was a 4-cylinder
Would
or a
have been like
V6.
it would have been like the early 90s.
Yeah,
I'm sure
that would have been the
V8.
very early 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have been a V8 because they wouldn't have bothered in bringing anything over other than the very top of the range, because we had our own version of it anyway.
Yeah, you had your own version. Yeah.
It was
And then
only
don't
the
forget
VX.
don't forget the one before that as well, the VBVC shape that Europe made too, that looked like a two-door Commodore. I can't think of I don't know if it was Monza or some other name. There is pictures of it on the internet. It looks very much like a Commodore at the front as well. The early 80s model.
Yeah, the thing is, it could be, as well as being a Vauxhall, it could also, of course, be a European Opel.
Yeah, it was it was a German derivation. Yeah. Well, we'll make it a short one tonight as well. So I've got a blues video and a Cyman, and it Did we see that one? That one's September 21st. Yeah, that's only new from Wolfie. What was that other short one we said? That was a quickie. It was a couple of quickies, wasn't it? An MC Toon or something?
There was MC Toon, but remember that is that is 18 rated.
Yeah.
But it is incredibly funny too.
Is that objective or subjective, the terminology for that? If you said it's funny.
What's that? Oh, it's definitely funny. Remembering it's called I Don't Cuss.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to remember where I've put it now. I scrolled too far, did I? There. It's got that idiot on the thumbnail.
Yeah, the idiot that I don't cuss.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. I found it. Oops. Don't start yet. Press play. Oh, okay. Get that one out of the road. I don't think Wally hasn't got one by the look of it. I couldn't find one. Yes, Death, and I've got a VS Statesman 95, 96. That's me daily. Don't like the VTs. I went too rounded. Don't mind the Statesmans in the VEs and all that. They're not too bad. It's shape.
So in this video we're going to look at how the exposure value on a camera determines what we are able to see. We are currently looking at the moon with a P900 with the exposure value set to automatic. As I zoom out, the camera will increase the exposure value, allowing us to see building and street lights. When I zoom in, the exposure value will reduce, allowing us to see the surface detail on the moon. What I'm going to do now is lock the exposure value at this setting with the moon correctly exposed. When I zoom out, the camera will make no adjustments.
Oh, what happened to the stars?
And we cannot see the building or street lights.
Yeah, amazing.
If I select automatic exposure, the camera will adjust and the street and building lights come into view once again. Just repeating the demonstration, I am locking the exposure with the moon correctly exposed and zooming out. We cannot see the building or street lights. Selecting automatic exposure, the camera will adjust and we can see those lights. I'm now going to lock the exposure at this value and zoom in. As you can see, the moon is clearly overexposed. Selecting automatic exposure reduces the exposure and the moon detail is again visible.
See,
And
Alan,
this
the
is
moon's
why
round the right way.
we cannot see stars in many of the photographs
No,
of
it's not.
Earth from space when the Earth is correctly exposed.
Flofers can't explain that one, can they, with the moon round that way?
No, they can't.
Okay, I'll go to... Oh, I better get that one out of the road. This one's got a bit of music in it too, hasn't it?
Yeah, but it's
Creative?
copyright safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's copyright safe.
I don't even cuss, bro. I don't even cuss, bro.
Stupid shit.
I don't even cuss, bro.
No, I don't even cuss in my freaking content. I don't even cuss, bro. That's what the fucking word means. Shit all over that. Shit all over that. Shit all over that. Crazy shit. Talk about gammas.
Yeah.
Dude, if you can go like a period of 2 days just like making shit up and
I don't even cuss, bro.
talking shit to people, how my nuts taste, bro. How my nuts taste, gamma. And it was a shit show, bro. Like, oh shit. Oh shit. How my nuts taste, bro. How my nuts taste, gamma.
I don't even cuss, bro.
Stupid shit. You've said nothing but stupid shit. No, I don't even cuss in my shit. I don't even cuss, bro. Shit. That's what the fucking word means.
This is not an approved area. Would you like to move?
That doesn't even warrant the swear jar, almost. Except for one word.
Almost. Yeah, but remember, this is on MC Toon's channel.
Yeah.
And he really doesn't curse very much at all.
Yeah, but I don't think shit's that bad.
Well, there was the occasional F in there, wasn't there?
Witless. Yeah, Witsit, sorry. Yeah.
Witless doesn't get it.
Yeah. Where's Blue? Blue's not here to watch his own video. Gonna miss out on that.
I think he might have already seen it.
Oh. I forgot you guys.
Okay, so you can show it.
Nah, sorry.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Blue Marble Science. How stupid can you be is really not a challenge, but flat earthers like to think of it like a challenge. So let's let Mobius take a crack at it, shall we? Warning. Severe facial and monitor damage alert is in effect. Get out those oven mitts, push the monitors back out of punching range, and let's light this dumpster fire and have some fun. Now this is all about LIGO, and Mobius has taken exception to a video I made about LIGO, I think primarily because he knows this is the ultimate flat earth killer. So let's see where he's going with this.
This is LIGO. This is the southwest arm. At the start, it's an elevation of 64.12 feet, and at the end, it's 64.9 feet, which Blue got right. What he failed to mention was that in the middle, there's a span of over 1,000 feet at 63 feet, which is even elevation.
I didn't mention those elevations you're talking about, Mobius, because to me at the time, they weren't significant. But now that you're apparently calling this into question, somehow trying to insinuate that LIGO's pad is level, I thought it might be a good opportunity to look at this in a little more detail. Now this is one of the LIGO drawings, and you can find this drawing at that website you see at the bottom, or just Google LIGO as-built drawings. That website will pop up. This drawing pertains to that section you see in the inset at the lower right. It takes 10 of these drawings for each of the arms in order to show all of the elevations. The center point of this arm, this is the southwest arm, is right there. It's closest to the 6,600 foot station. Now sections continue, of course, on either side of this. There's the next one that picks up at the 7,000 foot station. But we don't need to concern ourselves with that. We're only interested in the portion shown on this particular drawing. So I've expanded that to try to make it a little more readable, and as it turns out, the numbers are still really too small to see very well. So let's put them on there in larger fonts so that you can see them. Now the area that Mobius is calling into question is this area over here. You see 9 elevations spanning a distance of 800 feet that list an elevation of 63.00 feet. Does that mean it's flat? Well, I don't know. What should it be? If the Earth is a sphere with a curvature of 3,959 miles, what should those elevations look like? I'll tell you what, we can figure that out. There's a spreadsheet, and at the top you see those stations, and they're lined up with the drawing, starting at 5,700 feet and going up to 7,000 feet. In the next line of the spreadsheet, you see distances away from the center point. And remember, we said the center was closest to the 6,600 foot station. So there's 0 right there. In the next line, we've calculated what the compensation for Earth curvature should be based on that very simple approximation formula of 8 inches per mile squared. And you see what those numbers look like. From 0 to 100 feet, the change is only 2 10,000ths of a foot. So let's do this. Let's round those numbers to 2 decimal places, and you get what you see in that line. And finally, let's write down what the actual measured elevations are. You see them there, and you see that there is absolutely no difference between the actual elevations listed on the as-built drawings and what we would predict they should be based on an Earth that has a radius of 3,959 miles. But now, Mobius, there's a couple of things wandering around in the middle of LIGO that you're ignoring. There's a couple of these. And those pachyderms are standing at the midpoint of both of these arms. Let's look at the southwest arm. Look at these elevations. 64.09 feet and 64.12 feet. Almost exactly the same. But the center elevation is 63 feet. Now what does that mean? Well, on a flat plane, if you have those 2 end elevations and a measured 63 foot elevation in the center, there is no way that forms a straight line. On the other hand, when we apply those elevations to an arc that has a radius of 3,959 miles, it does form a straight line. What happens on the other arm? Well, there we've got 64.12 feet at the vertex. We've got 60.04 feet at the far end. So there's an elevation change there of a little over 4 feet. What should that elevation be in the center? Well, that's easy enough. This is Euclidean geometry for you. Those are similar triangles, so we can simply average those 2 elevations. And we find that the center elevation actually should be 62.08 feet. What is it? In reality, it's 61.05 feet, about a foot low, just like the west arm is. And again, on a flat plane, 64.12 feet going down to 60.04 feet will miss the measured center point elevation of 61.05 feet by about 1 foot. But if you put that on an arc with a radius of 3,959 miles, it forms a really nice straight line.
Then at the southeast arm, the beginning is 64.12 feet and the end is 60.04 feet. And what Blue also forgot to mention was at the end of the southeast arm, it's elevation of 60.3 feet for 800-foot span of even elevation.
And what Mobius is trying to avoid is off the top of your head, what is 0.01 feet equal to in inches? Think about it for a second.
I think it's around 1/8 of an inch, something
That's
like
right.
that, maybe.
Yeah, just under 1/8 of an inch. It would be
Yeah,
0.12 inches.
right. And your point being?
My point being that if they're getting concrete that close, they're doing a hell of a job.
Yeah. So if an elevation continues for an additional 400 to 600 feet beyond the 900 feet, and it only deviates 0.01 or 0.02 feet for an additional, I don't know, 600 feet, what does that show in the drawings? Not what you can imply or what you can infer from your model, but what does it show in the actual drawings? That's what I'm asking.
Well, it shows that if you what you can do is take that center point at 63 feet and take 100-foot increments like they've taken, and just do something really, really straightforward and simple, like 8 inches per mile squared, and apply that to those distances, and then see.
So you're applying a model.
Yeah.
I'm asking you not to apply a model. I'm asking you to tell me what the drawings say, not what you infer based on a model.
The drawings say what they say. Is that what you want me to tell you?
Do you get what I'm asking?
No,
or
not at all. I don't.
I've tried to simplify it as basically as I can, but
I don't get it. The drawings say what the drawings say. Is that what you want to hear?
okay, perfect. Well, that's all I've been saying, and you take that as me not understanding how to round numbers.
Well, I don't know what you're trying to make out of it, though. It's exactly what you would think it would be. The drawings say exactly what you would predict they would say.
Based on
8 inches per mile squared, based on
based on a model.
on the surface of a sphere that is 3959. That's what it says.
So based on a model, you can infer that the numbers would be accurate.
Yeah.
Rounded.
Absolutely. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But the numbers don't say what you're inferring. The numbers say what the numbers say. Period.
No, the numbers
End of story.
the numbers say exactly what I'm inferring when I round my calculations to 2 decimal places.
No, then the numbers don't say what you're inferring. Your inference says what you're inferring.
Yeah, the numbers say exactly what I'm inferring.
But
When I apply
the
that
numbers,
and round the number and round the calculations to 2 decimal places, you get exactly the numbers that they show you.
the numbers only go to 2 decimal places.
That's right. So I round mine to 2 decimal places.
So you're rounding from a third or fourth decimal place.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
Oh, I think he gets it all right. I think he's doing everything he can to shift the focus away from the real problem, which is that 1 foot elevation discrepancy at the center of all 4 of the arms at LIGO if the Earth were actually flat. They can't explain that. Hey, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons down there. Tickle the little bell if you want notifications. Shout out to the patrons and PayPals. I really appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
The numbers say what they say because that's how it was measured. I thought that had all blown over by now, the LIGO one. Have we lost Paul or lost his image?
No, you should still have me.
I don't know, it's gone blank on mine.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Well, there you go.
Just one of those things.
Those little ducks in the background on my image, they are only 2.5 weeks old.
Yeah, but no one can see them.
No, it's alright.
I will play Simon Dance. That'll be it for tonight.
Find excellent examples of bad science, it's Facebook. There are countless groups and individuals who profess to be experts on all range of sciences. From physics to earth science, biology and astronomy, and even medicine, they are everywhere. And as we know, these sorts of people and groups are very dangerous, having the confidence to claim that they know everything when in actual fact they know very little. So what better way to spend your Tuesday than watching me go through some of the absolute worst examples of science on the Facebook Science subreddit to highlight the absurdity. This is going to be good. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Before we begin today, a quick thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Fabulous, the #1 self-care app to help you build better habits and achieve your goals. Fabulous is based on behavioural science, breaking down scientifically proven healthy habits into very small tasks, allowing you to achieve them every single day. And it genuinely builds healthy habits that stick. This award-winning app helps you create long-lasting change in your daily routine. Last time out, I completed a no sugar challenge to try and cut sugar from my diet, and it worked. Challenges are short-term programs designed to motivate yourself or get 25% off a Fabulous subscription. Right, back to today's video, where I'm going to be taking a look at some of the Facebook Science subreddit posts. And we start with this absolute gem. Friend, I believe all animals evolved. Me. Then explain why horses didn't evolve like this. Anyone that thinks that this is how evolution works, then they do not understand evolution. Animals evolve over an extremely long period of time, with minuscule changes that could never be seen during the length of a human life. The last common ancestor of the duck and the horse lived about 300 million years ago. That creature was not a horse, nor a duck, but the evolutionary arms which spent the next 300 million years evolving created each. Okay, let's take a look at our next post. A shark in a fish tank will grow 8 inches, but in the ocean it will grow to 8 feet or more. The shark will never outgrow its environment, and the same is true about you. Many times we're around small thinking people, so we don't grow. Change your environment and watch your growth. Oh my word. If a tank is large enough, a fish will grow to its absolute maximum potential size. However, if placed into a smaller tank, its growth can be stunted. But it will never just continue to grow. There will always be a maximum potential size. It's why you don't see giant animals running around in the wild. And there's certainly no correlation between human size and living conditions. Right, next up we have this one. Here's an idea for you to ignore. We should plant various fruit trees on city sidewalks so everyone, including the homeless, could eat all year. As the poster of this states, the original maker of this image seems to have forgotten that fruit is seasonal, and during the winter you'd have absolutely nothing. Absolute class thinking there. Credit for effort,
for 12
though.
months of the year, though.
Up next we have this beauty. They told you the moon is a solid object, but it disappears every month. Moon is not terra firma. We didn't land on it, and there are no briefcase-sized reflectors we shoot lasers at to test its distance or to prove we went there. Grow up. Here we go, a space one. So the moon disappears every month. Well, technically you could say that, because it only disappears because of the ruddy big sun by it, where the back face of the moon is lit rather than the face facing us. I love how the original meme maker is telling everyone to grow up when they're literally saying the moon disappears. Amazing. Let's move on. I think it's hilarious that people think the ocean will rise if the ice caps melt or if icebergs melt. It's second grade science. The water levels will actually go down. Will they? I'm pretty sure that if you have a giant hunk of ice sat on a continent, which isn't in the ocean, then if that ice melts, then it will be in the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Moving on. Where's the asteroid? No rock, no proof.
Oh, okay.
There is no asteroid. Hole.
Yeah, what happened to the
This is
asteroid?
proof of the heavens opening and trillions of tons of water from above made this giant hole and many other holes on Earth on the Great Flood era. Amen.
Yeah, where's
These
the big
people
piece
do
of rock
understand
landing
that the
in
asteroid is pretty
next
much
to it?
vaporised on impact, don't they? And what does that say at the bottom there? Trillions of tons of water made the hole. Well, where's the water? Baffling. Let's move on to our next example of Facebook science. Salt water heals. That's why the beaches are on lockdown. What even? Whilst salt water does have some mild antiseptic capabilities, I don't think it has the ability, no, I'm sure it doesn't have the ability to completely cure COVID. So no, that is not why the beaches are on lockdown. Surely it can't get any worse than this. Gravity is a theory, not a fact. How many times do I have to say it? Actually, it's also a law. I didn't vote for it, did you? Nobody votes for physical laws, they just exist. They've existed for 13.772 billion years. This particular law was discovered over 400 years ago and has been an established fact ever since. Oh dear, oh dear. The idea that you have to vote for a physical law to be in existence really does show where we are as a species, doesn't it? It has got worse, hasn't it? But surely it can't get any worse than that. No mention of the unnatural fog that's currently engulfing a number of northern towns. The same northern towns that showed dissent against the government's COVID restrictions. Coincidence? No chance. Manufactured fog to scare the residents into staying indoors. Orwellian. Manufactured fog? Manufactured government fog? I think I've heard it all now. And besides, fog doesn't scare people to stay in their homes. It's just fog. Quick, move on to the next one. Life on Earth was mostly likely silica-based before humanity. Whatever light source fueled these ancient silica trees, it wasn't our sun. These trees were cut down by the Creator before the Sky Dome was installed. Ah, not this one again. The fact that these ancient giant basalt structures were once ancient trees. Of course, they aren't made from wood, and where is the evidence that there's once silica life? Next one, please. 95% success rate? Okay, but the current recovery rate is much more than 95%. How on earth is this vaccine better if it kills 5% of the population? In India, the mortality rate is 1.47%, much lower than the failure rate of this vaccine. That's not how vaccines work. That's not how any of this works. And we wonder why we're in such a state with COVID at the moment. Bloody hell. Of course, the success rate of a vaccine is the percentage reduction of disease in a group of people in a clinical trial. It does not mean how many people died from that vaccine. It's getting worse and worse. Why baby carrots are killing you? Manufactured baby carrots are a result of taking all the broken and ugly big carrots they can't put in the package, grinding them all up, processing them into the baby carrots, and giving them a bath in chlorine to give them a bright, happy orange colour. A bath of chlorine gives the baby carrots an orange colour, even though the bigger carrots in bags are also orange. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Why is it that everything seems to be killing us? And for what reason as well? Moving on, please. Why do you need a giant spoiler if the max speed your car is capable of is 70? Yo, so I understand blocking out the license plate, but why the miles? To protect my car from being hacked? I'm curious how your car can get hacked by the mileage. Serious question, not being a smartass. Cars have antennas which send out 5G radio signals. Hackers use these signals to verify the odometer on your car and then backlog your IP address to your house to steal your personal info. I thought this was common sense. This guy's common sense seems to be a bit more uncommon than he first thought. Cars do not have 5G antennas, and even if they did, why would your odometer be attached to them? And lastly, where are all the burglaries off the back of these 5G antennas? I am actually enjoying these, strangely. Perhaps we should make it a regular feature. Let's continue. Ridicules flat earthers, believes this went to the moon. Yes, I ridicule flat earthers, and yes, I believe that went to the moon, because it didn't go to the moon like that, did it? It went inside the command module. It was protected. It's not rocket science. Lol. Next. This is science, not anti-science. Anti-science is just a slogan not to be taken seriously. It is known that mainstream science focuses on one thing, and that is the less than 0% trace gases that they say is a threat. Without evidence, that is a threat. Less than 0%? Wait, just so we're clear, you are trying to be taken seriously, right? Like you come up with above 0%. 1% is above 0%, 0.1% is less than 0%. Maths is sort of an important subject, isn't it? But what I find amusing about this one is the pure confidence that the Maths Challenge commenter makes his comment with here. Amazing. Right, what do we have next? Coronavirus is a hoax. 5G cell towers cause the illness. Research 5D/Corona link. I'm ashamed to say that this looks like a car from the UK. Now, I have comprehensively debunked the 5G coronavirus link. If you want to check that out, you can do so here. Safe to say there is no link. Right, let's move on. What do we have next? People are effing idiots. My neighbour's kid just tried to tell me that bats are mammals. Mammals don't fly. We walk and are confined to the ground. No wonder my family in Sweden thinks Americans are dumb. You'll truly need to educate your kids better. Bats are birds. Oh dear, this one hasn't gone down very well at all, has it? Of course, we all know bats are mammals, and they aren't just confined to the ground. Whales and dolphins will have something to say about that. Imagine publicly posting that. Honestly. Okay, everyone, it's time. Our final Facebook Science Reddit post. Let's do it. Adults who are fully vaccinated are 47% less likely to have long COVID should they contract COVID-19, a new study says. So, 53% more likely. That's not impressive. Ah yes, this is from old UK pop group Right Said Fred, famous for their song I'm Too Sexy. If anyone clips that, then damn you in advance. And what a massive chasm in understanding this is, claiming that if you're 47% less likely, then that means you are 53% more likely. Of course, 47% less means you're cutting your chances of getting long COVID by about a half. I actually saw this tweet shortly after it was posted, and it was subsequently deleted and replaced by another tweet claiming it was all a joke. Of course, if you delve into Right Said Fred's profile, you'll see that it wasn't a joke. Well, that was an interesting look into the world of Facebook science, wasn't it? Really enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do it again, and I will endeavour to do my best next month. That's it for this week's Tinfoil Tuesday. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do consider subscribing and hit the like button as well if the feeling takes you. Thank you very much. Just enough time to once again thank Fabulous for sponsoring today.
Yeah.
You might have to beat him to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's your lot, I suppose. Done pretty good. It's not that much shorter tonight, just over 3 hours. That's still long enough in some people's eyes, I suppose. Short one for Wednesday. Maybe Saturday. We'll see what happens Saturday. Oh, thanks, Paul. Well, Alan's disappeared.
You're welcome.
Blue's still gone to see the veterinarian or whatever it is. Who do we have? All the regulars out there. Everyone from Carl. It's Charlie. Hey, Charlie. Yeah, thank you. Stewie. Wally. Haven't seen you here commenting for a while, Wally, in so much in one stream. You're not baking cakes again, are you? Hey, Phil. John Stock. Who else? Biggest Doggers, is it? Dart, Dora. John Stock. Zebulon, Death. Valmigs. Clive, I know Clive was there somewhere before earlier. Milkman Dan, Surf, Facty. Lost those Professor Phil. Hey Phil. Who else? Andrea. Hello, wonderful person. John Rapp. Brimfondle. I know Spooky was here earlier, but he had to go. 9 o'clock, Hero. Fred Knotts. Yeah, that's as far as I can get. Oh, First Death. There we go. Yeah, I can't go any further back. Oh, did you play the Mitchell ripping video? Oh, you want me to squeeze that one in, Wally, before I go? Mitchell ripping video. I'll find it first. It'd be in the shield you shit. How long ago did you do that one? Yeah, I'm scrolling back. Oh, I see it. I must have missed. Sorry, I missed that one. How long does it go for, Wally? It goes for 13 minutes. Alright, let's just watch that and we'll finish off. Night Peanuts, Night Panel, and you just can watch that. And then we'll be gone. I'll let the Peanuts watch that. There we go.
Well, g'day everybody. Where's Wally here? Well, this one's going to be special. Mitchell, from Australia, he tried and failed to take down some very special globe signs brought up by Mr. Sensible in his cheeky little claim for Dirth's bitcoins. Of course, Dirth didn't have any intention of ever paying up. So the one that I really liked that Mr. Sensible brought up was the measurable fact that the two tropics are equal length, but yet both are shorter than the equator. It's a perfect globe sign. Now let's hear how Mitchell deals with this.
Number 16, the Tropic of Capricorn. On a globe Earth, the tropics of both Cancer and Capricorn would have the same circumference. On a flat Earth, they can't possibly be. Number 17.
Oh yeah, so the Tropic of Capricorn, yeah? A circumference, you say? And that is working or not working on a flat Earth? I'll just go back to that. So what are you comparing it to, Mr. Sensible? Are you trying to set up a false dichotomy where we're using some sort of a globe projection, the AE map, to compare to your globe Earth? And you're trying to say which one is more accurate, and you want to come out on top with the globe? You're gonna need half of that, are you, Mr. Sensible? And you're gonna have to make me claim that we have some sort of a map to give you, some sort of a circular map that we can measure the distance of this Capricorn. I'll just show you the beach. So the sun's about to come up. The sun is up somewhere over there, and it's all about the sun. The tropics are all about the sun. Capricorn and Cancer are just the extremities to where the sun's GP will move throughout the year. Yeah, they're just arbitrary points. Nothing to do with a globe. Definitely works on a flat Earth. It is just the GP point to where the sun is. Moving on.
Well, there was a lot of ducking and dodging there, Mitch. Well, we all know that you FE lot will not reproduce a map because, well, yes, this is a dichotomy, it just ain't a false one. Now, only one map will work, and you lot are admitting as much by not producing one anymore, because you don't want anyone to test it, do you? Also, you admit that the tropics are defined by the extents of the sun's GP, but then you totally contradict yourself by saying that they're arbitrary. You need them to be arbitrary, don't you, Mitch? The thing is, Mitch, we don't even need your space pizza map because the globe map matches exactly what we measure. Now, we can measure the tropics, and we find that both are actually shorter than the equator when it's measured. Now, Jervis Bay is where you like to hang out, so let's go and use that, shall we? Mitch, if you measure the east-west line between the point perpendicular and Chinaman's Beach, well, the distance is 10,172 metres, or in kilometres, that's 10.172 kilometres. Yes, we divide by 1,000, hey Nathan?
Why would you divide a metre value when trying to come up with a larger value? Dividing something makes it smaller.
The change in longitude between those two is 0.1118 degrees. Now let's do the same thing for Kalala Beach and Plantation Point, a north-south line, and the distance for that is 6.673 kilometres, and the change in latitude is 0.060 degrees. So why am I banging on about distances? Well, we know that flatties trust Google Maps for short distances like when we see too far, black swan proofs and so forth, don't they? Well, if you divide the distance by the degrees, you'll see something interesting. So for the north-south line, we divide 6.673 by 0.060, and we get 111.2 kilometres per degree. 111 kilometres per degree, so far so good. So let's do the same for the east-west line. So that's 10.172 kilometres divided by 0.118, and it comes out as 91 kilometres per degree. That's 20 kilometres less. How are you going to explain that, Mitchell?
Please explain.
Let's look what happens at the Ushuaia runway paradox. At that latitude of minus 54.8, the east-west ratio is almost half of the north-south ratio. Now here's a clue, Mitch. Cos of 60 is 0.5. But Mitch, I know you're going to want to explain this globe proof away, but you're going to need half of that. In fact, when you plot all the major north-south runways in the world, and I found over 500 of them in a database, the ratio versus latitude looks like this. But when you plot all the east-west runways in the world, and I found about 1,300 of them, the ratio versus the latitude looks like this. Are you getting it now, Mitchell? If you don't have a good grasp of R by now, Mitchell, then you're going to make a huge mess when you're in continents like Australia, Africa, South America, unless you have a strong R-hold. Now, don't even think about saying that the degrees are arbitrary either, Mitch, because they have meaning. Now, if you pick any line of longitude, the sun will rise at the same time anywhere along that line on the day of the equinox. We all know this. Now, if you were to take, say, 1,000 drones and spread them all out along that line and had them all take off as the sun rised and have them all track the sunrise west, how far would they be in 1 hour?
A 15-degree-per-hour drift.
Thanks, Bob. But the distances would be all different, just as we saw. The drones at the equator would fly the furthest distance, and the further the drones are from the equator, in either direction, north or south, the shorter the distance they need to fly to move 15 degrees west. Are you sick of me yet, Mitch? I am not done, so hold on for more proof of R.
It only works on the globe.
Number 7. Satellite TV dishes, each of which point to fixed points in the sky, which are the locations of the broadcast satellites in geosynchronous orbits.
Awesome. So we've got a claim of orbits. Are you going to prove that we have orbits in the first place, Mr. Sensible? Because that is begging the question fallacy. Orbits have never been witnessed. Orbits have never been proven.
You know, one night, Wolfie and I were chatting, comparing our RGB keyboards.
This is my new Corsair keyboard. Look how cool it is. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
And I had a brilliant idea. So I said, Wolfie, I have a brilliant idea. I went on to ask him if geostationary satellites would be visible at midnight using one of his fantastic telescopes. He said, sure, the sunlight would reflect off them and you can see them. I said, but what about midnight on the night of the equinox? He said, oh, good thinking, Wal. That's a brilliant idea you just had. So let's have a good hard look at this video he captured on the 13th of October 2020. Firstly, you see all the stars are stationary as the telescope is on a polar-aligned EQ mount tracking at
15-degree-per-hour.
Thanks, Bob. As the satellites move into position, Wolfie stops the tracker, so the geostationary satellites are now stationary with respect to the surface of the Earth, and it's now the stars that are moving. Now remember, Mitchell, geostationary satellites have to be above the equator. So here we are literally seeing them. So what was that claim of yours?
Orbits have never been witnessed. Orbits have never been proven.
Well, looking at the satellites in orbit is an orbit being witnessed. So there's globe sign number 1 for you. Globe sign number 2 is the satellites blinking out when they, in turn, pass into the Earth's shadow. Now, how do we know it's the Earth's shadow? Well, here's globe sign number 3, as this only happens around the time of the equinox, when the shadow is straight above the equator at midnight. At other times, the shadow is either too far north or too far south, and it misses them. Now watch again carefully as the geosynchronous satellite that is moving in from the north to the south, as it touches the edge of the shadow briefly. It blinks out for only a few frames. Well, let me show you what the shape of the shadow is likely to be at that point. Wow, that is very penumbral, isn't it?
It only works on the globe.
Now let me show you 4 videos, all taken in the last few weeks. And what you will see is that the time of the eclipsing, the time that it's blinked out, is getting longer and longer as the date gets closer and closer to the equinox. It's like the shadow is getting bigger and bigger or something. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Mitchell? I hope so.
It only works on the globe.
Are you understanding that there is a huge circular-shaped shadow in the midnight sky? What are you thinking could be the blocking object creating this? I think that's globe sign number 4. Well, Mitchell, the only debunk that will be accepted here is when you image the geostationary or geosynchronous satellites at the time of the equinox and show that they are not being eclipsed or not diving into the Earth's shadow. So there is another R here too, Mitchell. Globe sign number 5 coming right at you. So if you look carefully from one day to the next, you'll see that the background stars have moved. So I grabbed a frame from each video at the point they were blinking out, and I did a plate solve using astronomy software to tell me exactly where the camera was pointing in each case. Now if you subtract those 2 angles and correct for the difference of the position on the frame and the difference of 50 seconds between when the frames are taken, you get an angular change of 0.9723 degrees. Now, what would you expect the daily shift of the zodiac to be, Mitch? Well, the Earth circles the Sun in 365.25 days, so let's say 360 divided by 365.25 is 0.9839 degrees. Ooh, that's just 1/100th of a degree of error. I'm going to call that a win. That is less than 1/40th of the width of the moon. That's kind of cool. So it seems we can also measure and prove the R of the orbit of the Earth around the Sun.
It only works on the globe.
Oh, Mitchell, I'm not done yet. These eclipsing geostationary satellites are an absolute gold mine for globe signs. I think this is number 6. Who's counting? Yeah, I am. So what I've been doing in the last few weeks is every time Wolfie sends me a video from last night, I plot the length of the eclipse as measured from the video. And here is the time as the independent variable, naturally, and time as the independent variable. Oh, Anthony's brain is going to explode with that. I can just hear him now going tick-tock, tick-tock. What we see here is a beautiful trend line with a regression coefficient that's almost 1. Isn't that sweet? And the line is a polynomial of the second order. Oh, sorry Mitch, that means it's a circle. The shadow is circular, and I guess you'll need an R for that. I guess that's globe sign number 6.
It only works on the globe.
And I'm still not done. Let's have a look at the angle to the north. So the image that I plate solved was taken in Perth. But did you notice the declination of the image was 5.5 degrees north? I bet you did. I also bet you, Mitch, that if you used a bit of maths, you could calculate the height of the satellite. Well, we know that the image was taken in Perth at a latitude of minus 31.95 degrees. We know that R is 6357 kilometres. So we can bung all that into a triangle calculator and find that A is 3364 kilometres and B is 5394 kilometres. Now we can find C by subtracting B from R and we get 963 kilometres. Just one more equation and we have H estimated for the angle we saw these satellites at. And the estimate of the measurement is only 3.666% off. That's globe side number 7, Mitch. Now I know, Mitchell, what you're going to say about this. You're presuming R. Well, fair cop, I am kind of presuming R in this case. But Mitchell, did you know that I could take multiple measurements of this given satellite from multiple locations and work backwards and calculate R? I bet you didn't realise you could do that. So that is how easy it would be to do. And the only assumption that would be required would be that the height of the satellite is remaining constant. And I'm pretty sure that's a safe bet. Well, thanks, Mitchell. This has been fun. I look forward to you doing a debunk of all of these points, and I hope you use my video as fodder for one of your most delightful sitting on the beach moments. See you in school, Mitchell. Hey, Mitchell, I believe these are yours. Here, let me hand them to you.
It's finished, Terry. Have I gone deaf?
Terry has left the building.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
No, there you are. Oh, there you are. Okay. He's back.
Well, I was finished up, and then Wally said, what about my video? And so I thought, well, just play that to finish off with anyway. So I've already said me goodbyes. I'll copy that.
Well, in that case, let's get the flurf out of here.
There's Wally's video. You can get another view out, an extra view. You get extra views that way, Wally. Terry's just working up the suspense. Oh dear. Oh, you caught the wrong end, Blue.
Yeah.
Shush. Terry's back. I reckon Holden is the greatest car ever built. Oh, thanks, Miro. Even though I just read the earlier comments. You're lucky you don't lose your spanners.
Was he extolling the virtues of the Ford?
Yeah, sorry, Wally. Well, I was finishing, but I didn't plan to that. That's okay. I'll make it up to you somehow. Alright, say goodbye again.
Bye again.
Peanuts.
Bye
Goodbye
again.
again.